Hey everyone, welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I am so excited that you guys are on today and can't wait for us to just jump right in with this great coach, Coach Derek Jones. How are you, Coach Jones?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. So, welcome everyone to the Kim Jacobs Show. I encourage you guys to share with your friends and family and encourage them to be a part of today's broadcast. We're going to have a great time and hear some great nuggets from Coach Derek Jones. Let's go ahead and introduce him right away so that we can make sure that we don't miss any information that he's going to share on today's broadcast. Coach Derek Jones has 23 years of coaching in football in the NCAA. In addition to being a successful football coach, he is a small business owner, an author, and owner of the trademark hashtag AP, the number 2W, AP2W, which stands for Always Play to Win. He is a social media influencer and one of the most innovative leaders and prolific speakers of our time. Despite all of his professional successes, nothing is more important to him than family. He is a loving husband, a dad, and a granddad. Welcome, Coach Derek Jones. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
I am so honored to have you on today. And I know it's so much advice that you can give people. So I want to make sure that we jump right in with the fact that, you started out, you're this wonderful coach, but how did that all begin for you? How did your journey begin?
Well, I've never really thought about being a coach. The coaching aspect kind of came from one of my college coaches telling me that he thought I needed to be a coach. But
Oh, wow.
probably even furthermore, my mother always told me as a young kid that, you need to use the gifts that God gave you. And it was kind of one of those things you don't really know what gifts you have because you're not mature enough to quite understand those. But people with wisdom can recognize people with wisdom. And I think my mom had always prophesied me becoming a coach. And I just kind of needed somebody to nudge me in that direction because that was probably the complete opposite of what I thought I was going to do in life.
Wow. Well, what did you think you were going to do, actually? What were you
Well,
originally?
initially, I thought I was going to be a mortician.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, and that's because there was somebody in my hometown that was a mortician, and he was just a good role model. Just being a person to provide advice. You saw the way he dressed, you saw how people perceived him, you saw what he drove, and that was just something to, look up to. As a young man, I don't even think I really knew exactly what being a mortician entailed, but I just knew mortician came with success, from
Right.
seeing him or whatever. And then as I grew a little bit older and got into college, and what I studied was to be a lawyer. Actually, I knew I
Oh,
could talk. I knew I liked to talk, and I knew that was something that I could control. Being an athlete or whatever, everybody has the aspirations of wanting to go to the NFL and do all this, but a lot of those things are out of your control. But I think when you put using your mind and using the abilities of being able to put yourself in position to use your talents, that's 100% in your control.
wow. You're already dropping significant nuggets to everyone on here. And one key word that I heard you say is prophesy. So I don't take that lightly when I hear the word prophesy in a statement from a coach who has such a prolific career that you do have. When you said prophesy, that means that you're from a spiritual upbringing. So talk about
Yes.
that a little bit more.
Yes, I was raised in the church. My mother was my Sunday school teacher growing up for most all my life, and my father was a deacon in the church growing up, and both of them are actually ministers now. So I think a lot of the things that you see in me are genetic more than anything else, because my dad often tells me that I sound like my mom talking, when I talk, but I can actually see a lot of things in my dad. And I would say for a fact that my dad is probably the number one male influence in my life, and a lot of it are not things that he's told me. A lot of it are things that I've seen him do from afar. Everything from how he treated my mother to how he treated his mother to how he's treated my mother's mother, how he treated my kids, my brother's kids, and just so many different things that I can observe as a man growing up to be able to see how a man is actually supposed to carry and conduct himself came from my father.
Oh my God. I know he's like he's a proud papa right now. If he watches this broadcast or hears it, he's like, now that my son, if I can he could go to eternal rest on that note alone to hear his own son give him accolades and a tribute of that magnitude. It speaks volumes because many African American young men don't get the opportunity to say those kinds of things about their fathers. So I'm just very grateful to hear you say that on the Kim Jacobs show. Wow.
Yeah, that's a plus, and understanding exactly what you just said, I think is one of the ways that coaching helps, because as a coach, especially a collegiate coach, you are the only father that a lot of young men have. And
Mhm.
more than anything, you're the last source of male influence they have before they reach the real world. And oftentimes they can have a good father, they can have a good mother, but freedom has a way of changing you.
Yeah.
When you get to college and you don't have curfew, you don't have people telling you what to do, what time to go to bed, when you're supposed to eat, and just all the structure that comes out of a household, you can go in a lot of different directions. So I
Mhm.
think the role that we're in as coaches, we have to be that last line of instruction before they actually go out on their own.
That's interesting that you say that because I have two sons that have gone on to college, and that has been an interesting transition for them to see them become their own adult and to see them implement the teachings that my husband and I instilled in them prior to them departing into that part of their lives. So, from a coaching perspective, tell us about your coaching career and where you are now. I know you're at Texas Tech. That's why I tried to wear. Do you see? I tried to wear something cheetah
I
related.
see you got the cheetah stuff on. That's
I
good.
don't know if this is the right print, but this is the print I had on hand. So I was trying to represent and put red on, cheetah. I was like, I'm doing it today. I'm doing it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you representing us. But, my coaching career started at the University of Mississippi, which is where I went to school, played football. And I was there as a graduate assistant coach for 2 years. And after leaving University of Mississippi, I went to Murray State University in Kentucky for 5 years. And
Okay.
after that, I had kind of a brief stint at several different schools. I was at Middle Tennessee State for 1 year, the University of Tulsa in Oklahoma for 1 year, the University of Memphis for 1 year. And then in 2008, I landed at Duke University. And that's where I was up until February of this year when I took the new position at Texas Tech University.
Wow. So now that's interesting that you're giving all of those different paths that led to your destiny right now, which means to me, it seems like a coach would need to be, or even student athletes might need to be open-minded to be flexible to go different places because you've been a variety of places that landed you where you ultimately are interested in being.
Yeah, college coaching is somewhat like the military. There's no way of knowing where your path is going to lead you. A
Right.
lot of the moves are by choice. A lot of the moves are not by choice. But one thing is for certain: if you choose to be a college coach, is at some point in time you're going to move. And I think you have to know that that's going to happen. But at the same time, you have to have a supporting cast, a spouse that understands that she's going to have to live your life. She's going to have to live your world. So there has to be a good balance there. And, for our children, it's the same thing. Both of my children that are in the house with me right now were born into me being a coach, and they lived a lot of different places. Well, the 12-year-old, this will be her first move. So this is kind of a shocking move for her because she was born right as we moved to Durham, North Carolina. But my middle daughter, Madison, she was born into this, and she's been to every single stop that we've been to. So me personally, I kind of like not knowing where life is going to lead me. And as I reflect upon each stop that I've had, I've got memories from those stops. I've got young men that I've influenced, that I've developed relationships with. So it's kind of like a book. Each one is a different chapter, and you never know
Absolutely.
how long each chapter is going to read. But when one chapter closes, another one opens.
That's interesting. And I love how you're talking about your family support system in Madison and Brooklyn and Nikita, your wife. The thing that I've witnessed myself in just observing your family is how close knit everyone is and how supportive they are. Again, wearing the cheetah outfits and welcoming them into the home and everything that comes along with showing that teamwork. So it's not just that you're on an island by yourself as a coach, but you're officially having this great supporting team that's building you up and lifting you up. And I love that.
Yeah, it's been great. And, my oldest daughter in South Carolina, she has a son, and it's just great to see, my grandson, he's at that age now, he's 7 years old, where he completely buys into what I'm doing. And his name is Cameron, and he's all about, Texas Tech football, and he's all about, what Papa is bringing to the table. So for me, being able to pour into so many other people's sons, to have an offspring of my own that is being motivated by me the way that my own father motivated me. I think that's the way the circle of life goes. And,
That's
my daughter was born when I was in high school. So she's had to witness daddy from afar, do all these different things or whatever. But just like you said, being able to have the complete supporting cast for me is my driving motivation.
Well, that's interesting too, because the thing is, I have a copy of your book, Always Play to Win. And so if you guys don't have your copy, definitely go to ap2w.com and get your copy of Always Play to Win. Some of the things that you're talking about right now regarding family, you really provide some significant nuggets in this book. And I wanted you to take a moment to tell people what inspired you to write Always Play to Win and some of the things that you can share with people that would encourage them, especially during coronavirus time right now.
Well, ironically, a book was never the initial plan, of what I was doing. As I said, being the son of two people who I'm a complete reflection of, when I got involved in social media, one of the things I was able to realize was how social media has a way of reaching a lot of different people.
Right.
And one of the things that my mother told me a long time ago is all pastors aren't in the pulpit because all people who need to hear the word are not in the church. And for me, my mom always made me understand that your voice, who you are, is a way to minister to people in the way that they need to hear it. And so I just always kind of took that to heart, especially when I decided, that I was going to become a coach. So being a reflection of the both of them, I just use social media to get up every morning and to try to put a quote up that I came up with myself that somebody wanted to hear, somebody needed to hear. And it could be something that I learned from personally. It could be something that I thought somebody might benefit from, and really no source in particular of how it came. I mean, it was just, I guess, my way of God speaking through me to be able to do that. And over the years of doing it, I had a friend to reach out to me and to suggest that I write a book. And in my line of work, we work a lot. We work a lot of hours. We stay consumed. So I didn't really figure I had time to write a book. But, after she convinced me that the material was already there, she just wanted permission to go ahead and proceed with it. That's kind of how the book was born. And, I think what the book is, it's a source to be able to go to just to try to motivate people to look at life from a positive perspective. I think each day that we wake up, we can find something to complain about. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how much you have or you don't have. We can all find something to complain about. But I think the underlying factor in that is each one of us, if we're breathing, we can find 10 things to be grateful for, to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
And, I just try to be an example of that for people in the way I carry myself. But also I try to put words out there that people may benefit from. And that's just kind of my way of being able to add a little bit to somebody's life daily.
Well, you're doing a great job of that. And I personally read these all the time. And some of the things that stand out is like, don't ever try to talk someone else down to lift yourself up. You say burdens can either wear you down or make you stronger. It's all in your attitude. You can either make an excuse or you can find a way. It's all in your attitude. You should never have to question who your true friends are. You just dropped so much knowledge in this book. And so everybody get your copy of AP2W. Is trademarked by Derek Jones, Coach Derek Jones, and it's hashtag AP2W. If you hashtag that, you'll see all kinds of inspirational quotes from Coach Derek Jones. And I know right now with coronavirus, how is that impacting you both professionally and personally, you and your family?
I think it's taken a toll on everybody from a normalcy standpoint, from a mental standpoint. And, again, we can all find ways to say how this thing has devastated us, how this thing has taken certain things from us. But at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do about it. We don't have control of it. We don't know when we're going to have control over it. So for me, I just kind of look at the benefits of what this has done. This is taking me from my job. This is taking me from my normal way of life. But at the same time, this has allowed me to reconnect with my own children. This has allowed me to reconnect with my spouse. This has put me in a house and it's put me into a place where I'm needed. My daughter was out of school, in college, out of the household. And, just being back here and being able to have conversations with her and being able to observe her and just having your father around because, my profession kind of robs them of having me present. And I think that's been a benefit, and, I'm trying to sell a house, trying to buy a house somewhere, and I could complain about that. But at the end of the day, I'm fortunate to have a house because a lot of people are not that fortunate. And I think it just boils down to, at the end of the day, every day you wake up, you have a choice of which direction you want to go in.
That's
And I
right.
just don't believe in bad days. I believe bad days are a choice. I believe in life we understand and know certain things are going to happen. They can sadden us when they happen. They can anger us when they happen. But at the end of the day, it's our choice how we choose to deal with that. So for me, if I've got the choice, I'm just not going to sit around and wallow in self-pity. And, I can't control the coronavirus, but I'm not going to let the coronavirus control me
Oh my God, Coach, you inspire me. You're inspiring me.
either.
Every day you have a choice in life. Choose positivity, is what Coach Jones is saying. Now, Coach Derek, now keep in mind too, you have so many athletes that are out here that's watching, maybe some with their parents, and they're like, okay, we're all over the place right now trying to determine our destinies too. What encouragement can you give those athletes that are up in the air right now with everything that's happening during COVID-19?
Again, I just go back to control what you can control. The one thing you can control is how good of shape you're in. The one thing you can control is how well you're handling your academics, because all of those things are very important in getting to the next step. Whether you're in high school trying to get to college or whether you're in middle school trying to get to high school, those are the things that you have to be compared to other people in. And you can control that, because there's just not a lot of spots when you get to college to take people. So the things that make you stand out are the things that you can deal with. Now, you can sit around and worry about the fact that you're not getting to practice, you're not getting to lift weights, you're not
Right.
getting to work out, you're not getting a chance to take recruiting trips, but nothing's going to change as far as that's concerned. So the only thing you can do is have yourself prepared as well as you can possibly be prepared when things do open back up. And that's the only thing that you can do. I mean, there's a lot of things right now every day that we can get better at instead of complaining about the things we can't.
I love that advice. I'll give you one example with my son. He's been home and doing his online classes and everything. But one of the classes he got a P for pass. But he was so stressed out because he actually had a 94% in the class. So he was like, "Who in the world wants a P whenever you have an A?" I didn't opt for that, so he went and did a whole appeal. It was a big to do for him because he had earned the A and didn't know that he was going to end up with a P, but he ended up getting the actual grade. But I know there are so many academics, you said focus on academics. There are athletes out here that are performing well academically in addition to being a great athlete, but some of them are ending up with P's, and that's out of their control in some regards.
Yeah, I think it's thrown a lot of people off in that regard. Like my youngest daughter, they didn't get a chance to even start school until a few weeks back. So it's probably going to carry her a little bit further into the summer than what she normally would. And just being associated with so many different young men across the country, just hearing the difference. Everybody has a different set of circumstances that they're going through right now. And again, all you can do is make the most of it. I mean, this is not going to be the new norm for us. It's the present norm for us, and things are going to get back to normal. But again, I think the advice that comes from that is, when we live, we learn that adversity is going to come. We don't know what form it's going to come in, but it's certain to come. And the people that survive, the people that overcome, the people that are successful are the people that know how to deal with adverse situations. And I think this lesson for all young people, for all old people alike, for all middle-aged people alike, this is a lesson that we all can learn from. This is adversity that we didn't predict, we couldn't predict, but how you weather the storm is
That's right.
going to show once this thing is over with. And again, you can sit around and allow a lot of things to affect you in a lot of different ways. But again, control the things that you can control. And your attitude is one of those things.
I love that. And when you talk about adversity, especially as inspiration to younger people that may be watching, what is something that was a major adversity that you had to overcome, and how did you handle it?
Well, I've had a lot of different things, adversity in life. I think probably the number one thing naturally is I was a teenage father. And when you're a teenage father, there's a lot you can't do. There's a lot that you're unable to do. And there's a lot of things that you have to learn a little bit faster than what somebody could learn. But, I use it as a source of motivation. I mean, my daughter was always the person that motivated me to go to class. She was the person that motivated me to say, I can't be dependent upon football to take care of me and her for the rest of my life because I'm responsible for her. So, there was always that little voice in the back of my head as a young father saying, okay, life is not about you. Life is about you and her. And as I reflect on that, in no way, form, or fashion was I perfect, but I always had that foundation, to stand on to motivate me to try to be as good as I could be.
That's really good. So right now we're going to go through a flash round of all of the different comments that people have put on Facebook and YouTube, and just answer any questions or comment on anything that you'd like. Okay, Sean Hall said, we are here. Sean actually helps children get scholarships with All Roads Education. And she has helped, like she helped my son get a $5,000 scholarship just in the last few weeks. So she helps students go to school debt free.
Wow.
Really good. She said, moms always know. So you must have made a comment about your mom. And people with wisdom recognize people with wisdom. Hey, morticians, that's a good career too, okay? And they do have good jobs, okay? Putting yourself in a position to use your talents, you are in control. Good, good. Love Sunday school, Pamela Howard says. She said, I think also. Okay.
A lot of lessons came from Sunday school.
Yes, yes. Adversity will always come, Tashana said. And amen from Don Whitty. I'm just kind of, thank you for your transparency, coach. People are commenting a lot about your transparency. Well-spoken, coach. You're well-spoken. That's from Shannon. So lots of comments and people just chiming in. My mom is on here. She said, good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Yeah.
Okay.
I think transparency is very important, in any leadership position. If you try to portray perfection, you end up turning a lot of people off, because that's not the case. But, in a world where so many people are quick to point a finger at people who are striving for something in a negative manner, I think the thing you have to be a good teacher is to be transparent. Being a coach, being a parent, the best conversations I have with my children are about mistakes that I've made. The best conversations that I have with my players about whether it's on the field or off the field issues are mistakes that I've made. And I think when you can open up to people about mistakes that you've made, they listen a little closer, because they know that you can now relate to them. I think if you come across as a person of perfection, or a person that's never, had any flaws, then sometimes people will be ashamed to talk to you, because they think that you're going to judge you. But that's the thing that I try to do in life. That's the thing I try to do on social media. I try to use my own life, good and bad, as examples for others to learn from.
I love that. I'm just typing what you're saying, because that's profound. So transparency is key to you and what you do and your mantra and how you teach other people. And that's very evident in your book, Always Play to Win. So make sure, everyone, you go to ap2w.com. I want to make sure that you get a chance to know how to get in touch with Coach Jones. He is very open to communicating with people. And as you can see, he's just a transparent, down to earth gentleman that his mom prophesied over at an early age. He was a great coach. 806-224-6176 is his phone number. His email is derek.jones@ttu.edu. And his Twitter handler, which he's very active on Twitter, is at Coach DJ Cheetah. I tried to wear this print today, guys. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Coach, I'm excited that you're on today, and I know some other parts of your schedule, but I just want to make sure that I get a chance to ask you to just define winning from your perspective. What does it mean to win?
I think winning is a mindset. Winning is a mindset that simply says, I refuse to lose. I think a lot of people take failure, setbacks, shortcomings as losing. When I look back at life and think of my failures, shortcomings, or whatever, those are my best sources of advice. Those are my best sources of education. I mean, that's the foundation that I live on. I think when you think about winning, you're thinking about keeping on regardless of your circumstances. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, you profit in the way of getting a trophy, or you profit in the way of getting a raise on your job. But what it means, you profit in knowledge. And a lot of times you can't go back and redo things that you've done or things that have happened to you, but you can share those stories and those experiences with other people so that they can in turn win from them. So I think winning is just being a walking example of what you think winning is. And that doesn't mean that you're perfect in that way. What it means is that you're okay admitting to and accepting your imperfections. And I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, because they're worried about who's going to judge them. They're worried about what people are going to say. One of the reasons that I do use my social media platforms to be so transparent is I don't want to give anybody the opportunity to say, well, look at him. I remember when he used to do this. I'm going to tell you what I used to do, because at the end of the day, why would I hide from that? Because what I used to be is a result of who I am now. And who I'm going to be tomorrow is a result of who I am today. And I'm okay with that.
I am okay with you teaching anybody on the Kim Jacobs Show anytime you want. So anytime you want to come on and just share a quick inspirational tip, a quick commercial quote from Coach Derek Jones, you are always welcome to use this platform because you've blessed our listeners and our viewers today. Is there any other final thing that you would like to say to everyone as just a word of encouragement, maybe something that you didn't say and you're like, dog, I should have said this one point?
I think the biggest thing that I'd like to share with anybody is exactly what the hashtag says, always play to win. And always play to win is a mindset. And always play to win means that you're always thinking ahead, you're always planning ahead. And it doesn't mean that you have to stop being who you are. It means that you must understand that, you're influencing other people. It means that you understand that, there are people who are watching you that you don't realize are watching you. And when we're blessed enough to be in the position of adults, that's a hand that we've been dealt. Because again, I think a lot of people don't understand that everything you do in life is an interview because you have no idea who's watching you or what they're looking for. And just like, my father was interviewing me for all his life. And I'm sure he had an idea, but he had no idea how much I was watching because, when we're young, we don't listen or we don't want to listen. But oftentimes, it's not the fact that we're not listening. It's the fact that we don't want to hear it. And then, you fast forward, 10, 15 years from now, you reflect back upon that and you're glad. I was talking to my own daughter the other night, my little 12-year-old. She came down here and she said to me, I don't come talk to you because all you do is lecture me. And I laughed at her when she said that because I thought it was so cute. And I told her very simply, I said, you'll appreciate these lectures later in life. And her older sister was standing there and she's like, yes, you will. So it's just kind of the circle of life of being able to see my daughter make the little face and say, I'm lecturing her. Right. When in fact, I'm trying to teach her because I realize a lot of fathers aren't open enough to talk to their daughters the way that I am. But I think that's very important because I don't want anybody else approaching them with things that I had the opportunity to tell them and refuse to do. So at the end of the day, we're all in a situation right now where we're a little bit frustrated with what's going on. But as long as you've got the blessing of life, you're blessed in general.
Wow. Well, I think one good comment here is that your next career move is pastor. You can say what you want, but your mama must have prophesied something like that in your future too.
Well, we'll just go in the direction that I'm led to go.
But you know what? Being at Texas Tech U, I just want to make sure too that you get a chance to give a shout out or anything for your new position. I know this interview wasn't focused totally on your coaching per se, but any comments or anything you want to say about your new role at Texas Tech University?
Yeah, I'm at Texas Tech now, and I'm the associate head coach, co-defensive coordinator, and secondary coach. And it's a blessing to me. I'm working along with some friends that I worked with in the past. And it's just like I said, I've got a different market of people that I'm dealing with. I've got a different market of fans. I've got a different market. So I'm re-energized. I'm refocused. But again, I think it goes back to my mom's prophecy. I think I've been placed in this position because, I didn't plan to go there. I had no idea that, I was going to land there. But it's my landing spot. I landed with 2 feet, and I'm just glad to be in position to not only coach young men, but to mentor young men, but more than anything else, just to be able to be a vessel, for people that may need that source of inspiration. So, I take it personally. And for me, it's just like getting up in the morning and washing my face, brushing my teeth. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say something that I think somebody needs to hear. And I'm at the point now where if I don't do it, somebody's going to text me and ask me, am I okay? Because they're used to finding it or whatever. But again, just glad to be in this position. Glad that you had an opportunity to bring me on today. And as you said, anybody that wants to reach out to me or whatever, feel free to do so.
Okay, with two final comments. My mom said, "Good morning, coach. I've read your book. It's so inspirational. I shared your book with my sons who are former football players. One of my sons, one of her sons played at University of Minnesota, and
Okay.
they're now husbands and fathers, and I pray they will pass this book on to their grandsons also." So your book is going from generation to generation within our family circle.
Well, good. And that's the same thing for me. I think one of the beauties of writing the book is, I have no idea what I'm going to have left to leave behind to, my offspring. I don't know how much money I'm going to be able to leave me anything else. But one of the beautiful things about this book is, 30, 40 years from now, 50, 60, 70 years from now, when I'm gone, my children, grandchildren, great grandchildren will be able to refer to something that I said, in this book and others that we plan to write and say, you know what, my great great grandfather said this. And for me, that's as good of a legacy as you can possibly leave.
That's the best. And Dr. Veriva Harris said, "Please tell the story right quick of the flowers. Tell the
Uh,
story."
oh, well,
She helps Coach Derek Jones. And so she's like reminding you, do this.
well, the flowers is a simple story of placing flowers in the house. As my children were growing up, I would often just put flowers in the house. And after a point in time, nobody paid the flowers any attention. And my whole point in putting the flowers in the house was I wanted my daughters to first and foremost see that there doesn't need to be an occasion for me to give their mom flowers or to give them flowers. But furthermore, the thing was this, how could I treat my daughters um, to understand that life is about receiving things other than any occasion. And for me, I knew how I thought as a young man. So the last thing I wanted was for my daughters to be in a situation where some young guy tried to hand them flowers and thought it was a big deal. But because they'd seen flowers in their house from their father all their lives, they would simply say, you've got to come to the table with a little something more than that because flowers are normal where I come from.
Wow, wow. Coach Derek Jones, great words of wisdom. 806-224-6176. You can email him at Derek, Derek.Jones at ttu.edu. And his Twitter handler is Coach DJ Cheetah. Hence, that's why I wore the cheetah today. And Coach Jones, I am turning 50 May 31st. That's my birthday. So I'm so
All
excited.
right.
Make sure, guys, you all follow Coach Jones. Before we end today's broadcast, even when he disconnects, I am going to just play a quick clip from his website telling you what inspired him to do Always Play to Win. And make sure at noon, you guys go to the Quest Church prayer line, 978-990-5000. Access code is 322083#. We're praying for people during this time with COVID-19, people that are being impacted, their loved ones are passing away and they're not even able to be there with them. So many people need prayer right now. So Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:30, we're offering prayer on this prayer line. So make sure you check it out. Coach Jones, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
Any final thing you want to say? Are you good? Because I know you got to get ready to get on your meeting, and I am excited that you took the time to be a part of the Kim Jacobs Show today.
Very simple. Always play to win.
Always play to win. Guys, stay on for a minute. God bless you, Coach. Go enjoy the rest
Thanks.
of your day. Stay on, everyone. I'm going to share with you his website. God bless you, Coach. Okay, let me show you the website right quick. And that way you can hear what inspired him to do Always Play to Win. Guys, this has been a great show. And I am glad that each of you tuned in today. ap2w.com. And here is the video clip for you to learn what inspired Coach Jones.
Always play to win has been my motto, no matter what I do. Whether it be in sports, whether it be in school, whether it be in life. It's about doing things to finish. Everything's not always going to go your way. You're not always going to wake up in a good mood. There are going to be some negative things that take place, but it's all a part of life, and life is about overcoming. So always play to win is just a statement that relates to everything in life, and it's something that everybody in life can relate to. The need to inspire people comes from things that people have given to me. I know oftentimes growing up and even as an adult, people have said and did things that naturally inspired me. And being able to give that back is something that, is free and easy to do. I think when you look at the things in life that really, really matter, something or someone has inspired you to do it. It can oftentimes be from a coach, it can be from a teacher, it can be from a mentor or anybody else. And I was fortunate to have people in my life that gave me these things growing up, but I'm also of the knowledge that a lot of people don't have those things. So if I can act as a friend, if I can act as a mentor, if I can act as a parent with my words, I just feel like it's very, very easy for me to do. You know, the whole purpose of always play to win just stems from who I am as a person. And I think this book is about who I am, you know, a person that's always positive. And I try to always think in a positive manner. You know, so many times in life, you see people that are down, you see people that need a little bit of motivation. I just think it's something that, you know, speaks volumes to a lot of people that maybe it'll enable somebody to say some things that they don't quite know how to put into words to their own children. Maybe it'll enable a coach to be able to motivate his team in a way that he's never thought about. And again, it's just blessings that I've received in my life that I'm trying to pass on to others. This is something that a mother can pass to their daughters. This is something that a father can pass to their sons. This is something that a coach can use in sports, and just an endless opportunity for small words to affect people in a variety of different ways.
Wow. Wow, 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 guys. That's what I wanted you to remember. Go to AP2W. You can hashtag AP2W and learn more about Coach Derek Jones. I am just so grateful that he was a part of today's broadcast. I want to thank you all for watching the Kim Jacobs Show today. And please make sure you tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. I have a guest that will be on. Her name is Sunny Jordan. She's going to be on talking about adult education, how adults can go back and get your degrees. So make sure you tune in. You can go and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show on YouTube. Turn on your notifications so that way every day when different episodes come on, you'll get an alert and be notified that the Kim Jacobs Show is on the air. On Wednesday, we have the entire week, we just have a great lineup for you. Even if you're interested in starting a business of some sort, you're going to be able to learn how to do that from a young man that came from Africa and started a business that's turned into millions. So you're going to learn a lot this week. My goal on the Kim Jacobs Show is to be able to work with you from a balanced perspective, ranging from cradle to grave and even beyond, how you can balance all of this thing called life. So make sure you tune in each day, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. God bless you all.